There is a strange moment when your own mind can make you question reality. You remember a logo that never looked that way. You recognize a place you have never visited. You suddenly forget a word you have used hundreds of times. You remember an event from childhood, only to discover it may never have happened exactly the way you remember it. And the most unsettling part is that these glitches do not always feel like mistakes. They can feel completely real. False memory. A false memory is a memory that feels real but does not accurately match what actually happened. The mind may remember an event that never occurred, change important details, or combine pieces from different experiences into one story. These memories can come from suggestion, imagination, repeated retelling, or simply the way memory is rebuilt over time. What makes false memory important is that confidence does not always equal accuracy. Someone can remember something with complete certainty and still be mistaken. Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect is a shared false memory, where many people remember the same detail differently from the historical record. The name comes from people who once believed Nelson Mandela had died in prison during the 1980s, even though he was released, later became South Africa's president, and died in 2013. Similar examples involve brand names, movie lines, logos, or historical details that large groups of people remember incorrectly. Unlike an ordinary false memory, the striking feature here is that the mistake is shared by many people. But as the list continues, the glitches become even stranger, because some memory errors do not involve remembering something incorrectly at all. Déjà vu. Déjà vu is the strange feeling that a present moment has already happened before. You may enter a new place, hear a conversation, or experience a situation and suddenly feel an intense sense of familiarity, even though you know it should be new. Researchers believe this can happen when the brain processes familiarity and conscious recognition slightly out of sync. The moment feels familiar before the mind can identify why, creating the impression that the present is repeating itself. And strangely, the next memory glitch almost reverses this experience completely. Jamais vu. Jamais vu is the almost opposite experience of déjà vu. It happens when something completely familiar suddenly feels strange or unfamiliar. A common example is looking at a familiar word for too long until it begins to look oddly wrong, even though you know exactly what it means. The object or person has not changed. Instead, the normal feeling of familiarity temporarily disappears, revealing how much our sense of recognition depends on the brain's ongoing processing. But sometimes, the problem is not recognizing something familiar. Sometimes, the brain knows the answer is there, yet cannot bring it to the surface. Tip of the tongue. Tip of the tongue is the frustrating feeling of knowing that you know a word, while being unable to produce it at that exact moment. You may remember the meaning, the first letter, or even the number of syllables, but the word itself remains just out of reach. The memory has not necessarily disappeared. More often, the brain has accessed parts of the information without successfully reaching the complete word. That is why the answer can suddenly appear moments later, seemingly from nowhere. And if you think your earliest memories are safely stored away, the next glitch challenges that assumption. Childhood amnesia. Childhood amnesia is the difficulty most adults have in remembering their earliest years of life. Many people can recall a few fragments from around age 3 or 4, but detailed memories from infancy and early childhood are usually rare. One reason is that the brain systems involved in long-term autobiographical memory are still developing. Language, a sense of self, and the ability to organize experiences into personal stories also change rapidly during childhood, making early experiences harder to preserve as lasting memories. Yet some memories from the past can feel incredibly sharp, almost like photographs, even when their details may not be as reliable as they seem. Flashbulb memory. Flashbulb memory is a vivid memory of the moment someone learned about a shocking, emotional, or historically important event. People often remember where they were, who they were with, and what they were doing when they first heard the news. The memory can feel like a detailed mental photograph. Yet vividness does not guarantee accuracy. Over time, the details can shift, even while the person remains highly confident that the memory is exactly as they remember it. And this leads to one of the most important clues about memory. Every time you remember something, you may be giving the brain another chance to change it. Memory reconsolidation. Memory reconsolidation is the process through which an old memory can become changeable when it is recalled. For a long time, memory was often imagined as something stored permanently, like a file in a cabinet. But when a memory is brought back into the mind, it can briefly become flexible before being stored again. New information, emotions, and later experiences may influence the way it is remembered. In this sense, remembering is not always just retrieving the past. Sometimes, it also reshapes the past. And when the brain tries to fill in missing pieces during that process, the result can become something that feels remembered, even though it was never actually experienced that way. Confabulation. Confabulation is the creation of memories or explanations that feel genuine but contain details that are inaccurate or completely mistaken. The person is not necessarily trying to lie. Their mind is attempting to fill gaps in memory and create a coherent account of what happened. Confabulation can appear in certain neurological conditions, but smaller forms of memory filling and reconstruction can also happen in everyday life. The important difference is that the person usually experiences the information as sincerely remembered. But there is one final glitch where the mind can take something it once encountered, hide its original source, and later return it as if it were an entirely new idea. Cryptomnesia. Cryptomnesia is a hidden memory that returns as if it were a new idea. Someone may hear a story, read a fact, or encounter a melody, forget where it came from, and later believe they created it themselves. The original source has faded from conscious memory, but some trace of the information remains. When it comes back, the mind recognizes the idea without recognizing its origin. That forgotten source is what separates cryptomnesia from ordinary inspiration or deliberate copying. In the end, the mind does not simply store the past and replay it perfectly. It constantly rebuilds, reshapes, recognizes, forgets, and sometimes even invents parts of what we believe we remember.